All right, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is still Tuesday, December 1st, 2020, and let me see your shocked face. Are you ready? The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 just hit and closed at new all-time record highs. Yeah, something like that. No, not at all like that. Because you see, I explained to you that this is exactly what would happen. We're not done. We're not done. Again, every time we hit a new record high, I get bombarded with people. This is it, Greg. This is the top. We're going down from here. I say, no, no. And guess what? I'm right. Yeah, we're not done. And we're going to talk about what's going on here, and what is about to propel this market even higher. And believe it or not, it's not all about, well, maybe it is all about debt. But so let me cover a few more things before I go crazy here. So yes, new record highs today for the S&P 500, the NASDAQ. Dow Jones Industrial Average is a slight laggard here. Okay, whatever. Is that the real story? How about no? How about no? No. The real story exists in two things, two parts of the same thing. Number one, the 10-year yield, 0.92. What does that mean? Why do I throw these numbers out at you? Why do I even bother? Okay, there's a big reason for that. 10-year yield goes up. What does it mean? It went from 0.86 to 0.92. That's a pretty big number, big move. Okay, that means cash has left the debt market. It's looking for somewhere to go. Where did it go? How about duh? It went right into the stock market. Yes, that's how it works. It's a theory of mine called the fluidity of money. I wrote a brief on this a while back. I don't even have it anymore. Otherwise, I'd give it to everyone. If any of you have a copy of that, the fluidity of money, let me know, because I would really like to have it. Anyway, that's number one. Number two, the dollar. The dollar got cremated today, hitting a 2.5-year low. Now, someone around here, oh yeah, it was me, has explained to you that the dollar is in a death spiral. The dollar is in a death spiral. It's a dying asset. But those of you who want to hold dollars, you go ahead. Yes. You see, we always need someone on the opposite side. A trade always needs a winner and a loser. You see, I'm on the winning side. You want to hold dollars, you will be on the losing side. And again, I need you there if you want me to continue winning. And I know some of you don't, but that's okay. Silver today put on 6.71%. Gold got bid higher. Cryptocurrency is still holding their own here after that major sell-off on Thursday. Bitcoin remains over 19,000. Cryptos are going much higher. You don't believe me? Okay, we'll see who's right. But you still hold those dollars. Make sure you hold the dying asset known as the US dollar. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. However, let's put a little more perspective on this. So, we have a pretty big sell-off here in the debt market. 10-year yield goes higher. Dollar under pressure. Stocks go up. That's the mechanism here. But it gets even bigger than that. Bigger than that. How about a nearly $1 trillion stimulus, at least the first installment? That's what they're talking about over on Capitol Hill. No surprise to you. I told you that trillions upon trillions of dollars in more stimulus is coming. So this is how it's being spun. The U.S. economy needs $1 trillion in debt or more, first installment, to save it. We got to save the economy by borrowing even more from guess who? Exactly, the federal freak show reserve. Now, let me explain this to you. I'm going to get myself in the right mindset here. Oh, I got to stretch here a little bit. Yellowstain, Jay Powell, soon to be Yellenstain, as part of the, the dynamic duo here. We're still going to have Yellowstain, it seems so far, as the Fed chair, and then we're going to have Yellenstain sitting in as the Treasury Secretary. And they are going to tag team the United States and the world, fulfilling the end game of the Fed since 1913. Imagine that. A former Fed chairwoman, Yellenstain, Janet Yellen, sitting as Treasury Secretary, and Yellowstain himself remaining as Fed chair. I mean, if you were a founder of the Federal Reserve, they're all dead now, 1913, you would be like giddy over what's happening. Let's see, because this is the freak show charade that they've been trying to do since forever. So this is how they finished what they started. So now we're hearing about $1 trillion, first installment, possibly, okay, by members of Congress who, in my opinion, and I would love to hear from you, I think our members of Congress should be required to wear clown suits to work. Clown suits to work. Maybe they should learn to juggle. I don't know. Do something, because that's all they're good for. So America and the American people are about to be raped yet again to the tune of multiple trillions of dollars. That is what sent the dollar plunging, 10-year yield higher, because risk is on. Risk is on means stocks go up here. Gold and silver took off. This is how it's going to work moving forward. So the promise of more debt on a scale, people, look, I've been beating this to death for I don't know how long. I hope you get it, and I really do hope you understand what I'm talking about. We haven't seen anything yet with regard to debt acquisition and debt issuance from the Federal Reserve. They issue the debt and they buy everything with it. That's the promise right now from the Federal Reserve, and why this market becomes more distorted every single freak show day. You understand? It's not going to stop. The Fed has just begun to inflate. Yes, balance sheet at the beginning in March, 4.1 trillion. Now we're over 7.3 trillion and going much higher. We haven't seen anything. Nothing. And as long as the Fed keeps inflating, and that is their objective, the Federal Reserve's objective number one is to inflate. And then inflate, and then inflate, kind of like a star, a supernova, whatever you want to talk about, because they want to take over the world. I mean this in the literal sense. I think some of you think I'm joking. I am not joking. When I tell you the Federal Reserve right now is the most powerful organization on the earth, there's nothing that comes close to the power and influence of the Federal Reserve right now. Who is the Federal Reserve's enforcement arm? That is correct. The United States military in its complete and total might and strength, including its nuclear arsenal. And that will be pointed at any enemy, foreign and domestic. Okay, that's the way it's going to go, the way it is going here. This is a whole new ball game, people. The death of the dollar, the issuance of a new dollar, completely digital. They're phasing out the old dollar. It's right before our eyes. They're going to inflate out of it. The Federal Reserve is going to inflate out of the dollar in its current form. Understand? Then we're going to get a crisis of the currency. We're already in a currency crisis. How do we know that we are in a currency crisis right now? Because the Federal Reserve is continuing to inflate. That's how we know that. Otherwise, we would run into a brick wall with regard to a liquidity problem. I've outlined this to the point of nauseum over the years. A credit freeze. The Fed cannot allow that to happen. If we had a credit freeze, what would it mean? It means all business all business activity would stop. It would freeze. You would go to your bank, no cash. ATMs don't work. Just an economic freeze. The Fed right now is doing everything it can in its power to prevent the freeze, okay? At the same time, finish what they started in 1913. This should be very, very clear to you right now. Look, I really believe that if you follow this blog, if you have followed this blog for any length of time, you are more in tune with what is going on with the Federal Reserve than any of the freaks that they put on in front of the camera on CNBC, Fox Business. They won't even have me on. You know that. I went through that one time. It's a freak show, people. It truly is. But again, people cannot be allowed to see what's happening in their face. What they're doing now is the distractions. It's all about the vaccine, all about the virus. That's it. Okay, they need you to focus here while they do this. It's the same thing. It's a game of deception. That's all this is. Okay, our strength, you and me, our strength lies in understanding what the main plan is here, the big game by the world central banks, more specifically the Federal Reserve, the strongest institution on the face of the earth. The dollar remains the world reserve currency. It will remain that way. They will point that military machine at any entity, both foreign and domestic, who tries to get in its way. You understand? I think you get that. So understanding that the Fed right now is running it all. The entire show, they run the government. They are the government. Allows us to capitalize on these markets. It's that simple. It's that simple here. And not just from a trading standpoint, by holding things like cryptocurrencies, by betting against the debt, becoming our own central bank, holding gold, holding silver, letting them play their game. That is, suppress the price of gold, suppress the price of silver. Look, we use this to our advantage. Is it frustrating to see? Yes. But in the long run, they cannot prevent the inevitable from occurring. It's kind of like the inflating debt bubble. Understand what's going on here. They're hyper-inflating the debt bubble by design, so they can hyperinflate the stock market by design. They've reinflated a housing bubble by design, only to end it all at one particular time. And that's the crisis that I've been talking about. When we get another crisis of the currency, it's all going to end. The currency crisis, the debt crisis, one and the same. We are in a full-blown currency crisis / debt crisis right now. And the proof is the action of world central banks, watching what they're doing, seeing how Congress is playing right into it. Understand? They know what you see you're not supposed to know. Members of Congress, pretty much all of them, realize what is being played on the people. You're not allowed to know. You see, they all got their golden parachutes. You understand? You and I got to create our own golden parachutes, at least to survive, at least try what is coming down the pike, because there's no way out of what's coming. That is a full-on, okay, we're in a debt crisis right now, we're in a currency crisis right now, but it's going to get extremely real at one particular time. They're going to, again, allow that to manifest itself. They're going to create a problem, okay? They're going to wait for the public outcry. Then they're going to offer their solution, which they already have. You understand? Look, this video is getting awfully long. I would love to talk more on this. But I'll tell you something. You know what I'm about to do? I just went out and bought a whole ton of gifts for orphan children. This is the truth. There's an organization here in Las Vegas that collects gifts for orphaned children. And I'm on my way over there right after this video blog to make a substantial donation. All right, anyway, with that said, people, look, I love all of you. That is the truth. And I want to thank those of you already who have supported my work. On the first of every month, I ask for your support of my work. I say, if Greg's doing a good job, please support my work. A lot of you already have stood up and supported my work. And I'll tell you something, it makes me feel really good. It makes me feel appreciated in a way because I appreciate all of you. If you have not yet supported my work and would like to, you're under no obligation here whatsoever. There is a link in the description of this video, and I would appreciate that. All right, I'm out of here. See you in the morning.